Today is Wednesday, Parashat Nasso, but actually this coming Shabbat is going to be Shavuot. Shavuot will start tomorrow evening, and it'll be on Friday and Shabbat. There are some customs that are applicable in the holiday of Shavuot. In our Moroccan synagogues, we read a ketubah. A ketubah is a marriage contract. The marriage contract is read typically at the wedding ceremony, and it lists the commitment of the groom to his bride. And in a way, the holiday of Shavuot that celebrates Matan Torah, the great gift of the Torah that Hashem gave us, on that day, when we received the Torah, it was in a way a wedding ceremony, if you wish, when Hashem is the groom and Am Yisrael is the bride, and the ketubah, or the gift actually even, that was given to Am Yisrael as to do the kiddushin is the Torah, our holy Torah, and it celebrates, the holiday celebrates that eternal commitment of Am Yisrael to Hashem and the commitment of Hashem to Am Yisrael. And the Ketubah is a beautiful text that uses some of the same wording and some of the same textual references to the actual Ketubah that is done at a wedding, but it celebrates the wedding of Am Yisrael and Hashem, and as we celebrate the holiday of Matan Torah. So this is one of the customs in our synagogue. There's another custom that was in Morocco and also now, is to sprinkle some water on people as they read the Azharot. The one who read the final verse in the Azharot. The Azharot is actually a poem written by Rabbi Shlomo ben Gvirol that lists all the mitzvot of the Torah in poetic form. It's a poem. It's one day we do mitzvot aseh, the other day, the next day we do mitzvot lo ta'aseh. He was a genius, a giant of Torah and poetry, and it's such a beautiful way to present each one of the mitzvot. That's the Azharot. So we read them on Shavuot, obviously, because the Torah is comprised of the 613 mitzvot. And the sprinkling of the water has to do with the fact that, according to tradition, when Am Yisrael heard the 10 commandments, the first two they heard directly from Hashem, and it was so powerful experience that actually they died, and Hashem revived them with a certain type of dew of tal that He sprinkled on them to bring them back to life. The first commandment and the second one, and then finally Moshe Rabbeinu is the one who heard the next 8 commandments, and he relayed them to Am Yisrael. So there is that idea of sprinkling water on each other, and also water is a symbol of Torah. The Torah is a source of life, just like water brings life through the vegetation, and through any place where there is life, there is also water. There is another custom that is more commonly practiced among the Ashkenazim, to have dairy meals. By us, some of the Sephardim have dairy first, and then a copious regular holiday meal that may involve meat, etc. And the idea of having milk or dairy products on Shavuot is associated with actually many reasons that are brought by our sages. One of them is chalav. In Hebrew has a numerical value, a gematria of 40, and Moshe Rabbeinu was for 40 days in Shamayim to get the Torah. There is another also reason that is brought. The pasuk says, "Devash v'halav tahat leshonech," that the Torah is like honey and milk under your tongue, and that's why some families have a tradition to have some of the matzah that was left from Pesach, to crush it and add to it milk and honey, so that devash v'chalav, and the matzah that is related to Pesach, which was the beginning of a certain process that starts from leaving Egypt, but then the conclusion of the process is on Shavuot, when we receive the Torah, and that is symbolized with the honey and the milk, together with some crushed matzah. There is another reason that is brought also for chalav, because that day of the 6th of Sivan, which is the day of Shavuot, is the day that Moshe Rabbeinu was found by Batya, the daughter of Paro, and she looked for a nursing mother to nurse the baby, and actually ended up that Miriam referred her to Yocheved, the mother of Moshe, who nursed him, so that chalav, that nursing, having associated with the 6th of Sivan, also is related to the word of chalav, of dairy products on Shavuot. There's other reasons also brought. One of them is the Mount of Sinai, Har Gavnunim, which is a mountain with some peaks, and Gavnunim is related to Gvina, which in Hebrew means cheese, so there's cheese products or dairy products. So as you see, there are many reasons that are brought, but the idea also is brought that on the day that they received the Torah, they didn't have yet pots and pans that were kosher, because some of them may have been used by people with non-kosher food. They didn't have also the laws of shchita yet. They had to learn, and that's why the thing they could eat right away was dairy products. And also, another reason, as you see, there are many reasons. The pasuk that says about bikurim, which is the first fruits we bring on Shavuot, actually continues to say right afterwards, Lo tevashel gidi b'halev imo, don't eat meat and milk together, and therefore we make sure that on that day we eat some of the dairy and then meat, but separately and in that specific order. First dairy and then meat. So these are several of the reasons for those families that practice the idea of having definitely dairy before the meat, and some that have one of the meals of being only of dairy, so that it relates to those ideas. So these are some of the customs associated with the beautiful holiday of Shavuot, when we celebrate the Matan Torah, the great gift that Hashem gave us of our holy Torah. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.